What if I told you that your fashion brand isn't standing out not because of its products, but because the branding looks like everyone else's? Most fashion brands in Dubai play it safe when it comes to branding. But what if you want to disrupt the space? This is how I designed a fashion modest wear brand that broke all the rules and became one of Dubai's most iconic modest wear brands. Fashion is one of the most competitive industries out there, and I've seen so many brands come in and get out. And the reason that they struggle so much is because they either follow trends too closely or they don't have a strong identity from the start. But with SALFA, we designed a brand identity that is still relevant till today. And they use their brand identity on collections, campaigns, and events. So today we're going to get into how we designed SALFA's brand identity, from ideation, then the creative decisions that went behind it, and what made it different from the modest wear industry in Dubai. Step 1. The foundation. Brand strategy and understanding the client. First, a little background. SALFA had already worked with a brand strategist and done their marketing research. So I already had a great base to work with. That meant they already had insights into their brand vision, mission, target audience, and about their competitors. But obviously, I need to filter all of this information through my design process. And so I gave them a branding questionnaire. Now see, this part is key because many of the times clients say that, oh, I have already done the research, and they just throw it onto the designer. But a designer has their own process and their own way of collecting information. You need to listen besides what the client says and pick up anything that you might miss through your own design process. When I first spoke to the founders, they described the brand as something that is mysterious, designed for high independent women, and this really cool girl energy vibe. But I'm not gonna lie, I felt like this was done before. And for those who may not know, that the modest wear and abaya market in Dubai is really saturated. We have new competitors entering every single day, and it is extremely hard to stand out. And this cool girl, chic, mysterious aesthetic is what a lot of brands have already been doing. And while it's aesthetic and it looks great, I thought it was going to be hard to actually differentiate the brand. So instead of just pushing back immediately, I listened to the client and I was absorbing all of this information. Step 2. Competitive research and finding a unique angle. So before proposing any type of direction, I had to see what the competitors are doing out there. So a lot of the brands were using black and white and a lot of neutrals like soft tans and browns and so on. But when I was talking to the founders of SALFA, I felt they had this really youthful, light energy to the brand, and I felt like that was something I wanted to explore. So what I usually do when it comes to creative direction is I usually propose 2 creative directions. And one direction is based on what the client likes, and the second one is what I think would suit the brand. So you can see that over here, the first direction was what the client wanted. It had this very cool aura, mysterious, chic girl vibe. And then also the colors that I suggested were tans, oranges, and so on. And the second direction is where I really strongly think SALFA should have been. And so I was inspired by this really nice denim blue because I feel like it was active, it was youthful, but still kind of minimal and chic. And also overall, the mood board was a great contrast between something that was high energy, on the move, but still gave that editorial, sophisticated look that the client wanted from the first time. Now I know you're just seeing a bunch of pictures and colors, and you know, it seems pretty easy. Like, okay, fine, I'm just going to pick a color. But picking a color that's not been done in the industry before and something like blue, which was definitely going to stand out, was a bold yet risky move. Because obviously the founders are investing so much in this brand identity and into this brand, they want to get it right. And doing something that's never been done before puts a lot at risk. You know what? The founders saw the vision and they said, let's go ahead with it. So now that we have the creative direction locked in, we now move into logo design. Step 3, the logo and wordmark development. Now, this is a part of a process. I didn't just go and look at different fonts and call it a day. I was really trying to understand, if we're using this really nice denim blue color to capture this youthful energy, we still want to show this sophisticated energy to the brand. And so I was thinking we should be exploring fonts that have this editorial aspect to it. So I was looking at fonts like you would see in magazines like Vogue, Elle, Harper's Bazaar, and I was trying to focus on these really like nice caps lock serif fonts. This route obviously gave the brand a more elevated and polished look. And then I also was trying to experiment something that, you know, was lowercase, was approachable. And to balance out the structure, I explored something more fluid and playful. The founders leaned towards the all caps version for its strength and presence. So after that, I refined the word mark further, and I adjusted the spacing, the kerning, and subtle details to create a word mark that balanced editorial luxury with an unexpected twist. And then also when it came to the icon, I really wanted to experiment with the 2 founders. I wanted to bring their 2 personalities together, but in a way that feels like united as one. And I was playing with the different placements of letters, and honestly, this was kind of scary because I don't know, it could look ugly, I could be looking silly, but deep down I felt like this was, again, not done before. And if the letters were placed properly, there could be something really awesome that could come out of it. And so I presented the icon to the client and they immediately loved it. Step 4, typography, colors, and bringing it to life. So since the brand already had an editorial influence, we obviously had to take that and put it into the typography suite. So for the headings, subtitles, and body text. Again, I looked through different newspapers and magazines and I wanted to really bring something that felt very editorial. So I chose a serif font for titles, something bold and confident, and then I contrasted it with a clean sans serif font for subtitles and body text, making it easy to read across different formats. And mixing different font styles adds depth and contrast, which helps establish hierarchy in branding. And now let's talk about the color palette, which is the most boldest thing about the brand. The colors that we chose did 3 things. They evoked the right emotions. The denim-inspired blue felt fresh, youthful, and gave this modern energy to the brand. Number 2, it differentiated the brand from the competitors. And number 3, they balanced contrast and harmony. While the blue was the main primary color of the brand, we balanced it by using beiges and tops, creating a visually rich palette. And you know what's a really cool part right now? That denim blue was once a risky decision in the brand identity, and now it is one of the most iconic identifiers in the brand. SALFA has made that denim blue its signature color, but not in an obvious way. Instead of plastering their logo everywhere, they use this fringed blue label stitched on every part of their clothing. And this is subtle, timeless, and smart. If you see that blue tag on any garment, you're gonna know it's SALFA. And that's what strong branding is. It doesn't always have to rely on the logo, but all of these different visual elements that build up the brand. And number 5, the brand in action, bringing SALFA to life. The SALFA brand isn't just about creating beautiful collections, it's all about storytelling. They are constantly pulling inspiration from different references, from different films, pop culture, and what's trending, but they make it their own. See, a lot of brands actually struggle with this. They usually have this brand identity, but they forget about it. And they usually launch new collections, but that usually feels disconnected from their original brand identity. But with SALFA, every single campaign feels intentional and goes back and matches with the original brand identity. But honestly, beyond design, what sets them apart is that they listen to their brand core. One of SALFA's brand values is transparency, and they don't just say it, they actually live and breathe it through their brand. I've seen so many brands throw around the words like being creative or innovative, and then they just forget about these words. When they say they are about being transparent, they actually mean it. They actually take you behind the scenes of how they're coming up with concepts for their shoots. You can see a storyboard process, then they're behind the scenes when it comes to planning photo shoots. And they even let the models share their experience while working behind the scenes with them. And this is so great because SALFA is a premium brand, but it doesn't feel intimidating. They invite the viewer to come with them on their journey while they're creating that collection. And I gotta talk about their latest campaign, which is a masterclass in branding and art direction. For their latest campaign, it was shot in Italy, and they pulled references from a lot of New York films. And one of the most impressive shots is where they mirrored this famous scene from Devil Wears Prada, where Andy's crossing the streets and the taxis are going by and her outfit keeps on changing. And they recreated the same thing with SALFA's latest collection. And this is what I mean when I say they just don't look what's been done in the modest wear industry or in the fashion industry necessarily. They're looking outwards. They're looking what's been trending or what has been trending and how they can pull those references and inspiration into a collection which they're launching now and that can make it new and unique. And another thing that I really want to highlight was this was the original mood board that was designed for SALFA in 2022. And now you can see that all of the new collections that they have done since till today still reflects that same energy that we decided for the mood board. They didn't get distracted by other trends or other brands. They were just focused on their brand identity and what matters and how they can stay unique and offer the best for their clients. If you're thinking about launching a fashion brand or even thinking of refining it, branding is not an afterthought. It is literally the foundation. And the brand identity is the main reason that makes the brand stand out in a very saturated market. Let me know in the comments what fashion brand you think has a very iconic brand identity. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.